Ever puzzled over how to include a double quote inside a string in Python? Well, you're not alone. Strings in Python are like a string of pearls, each pearl representing a character. These characters could be anything: letters, numbers, symbols, or even spaces. Just like the string that holds the pearls together, Python uses single quotes, or double quotes, to hold these characters together, forming what we call a string. Creating a string in Python is as simple as placing your characters between these quotes. For instance, hello world, Python is fun, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all valid strings. But what if we want to add a double quote right inside our string? That's where things get a little tricky. Now that we understand what a string is, what happens when we want to include a double quote inside a string that's already enclosed in double quotes? Stay tuned to find out. Here's where Python gets a little tricky, but don't worry, we've got this. We're going to delve into the concept of escape characters. An escape character is like a secret agent in your code. It carries out special operations that aren't immediately visible to the naked eye. In Python, our secret agent is the backslash. You might be wondering, what's so special about a backslash? Well, when Python sees a backslash inside a string, it knows that the next character is not just a regular character, but something special. It's a signal to Python to treat the character following the backslash differently. Now let's consider a scenario. Imagine you want to include a double quote inside a string that's already enclosed in double quotes. Without an escape character, Python would get confused and think the string ends at the second quote. But with the help of our secret agent, the backslash, we can avoid this confusion. When you place a backslash right before a double quote in a string, you're telling Python, hey, don't treat this next character as the end of the string, it's part of the string. So the backslash allows us to include double quotes inside our strings without any issues. For example, if we wanted to print the phrase, she said, hello world, as a string, we would use the backslash to let Python know that the inner quotes are part of the string, not the end of it. So our code would look something like this. Print, she said, hello world. And Python would print, she said, hello world. So with the help of our new friend, the backslash, we can include double quotes inside a string without Python getting confused. Let's see how. Ready to see the magic of the backslash in action? Let's dive right in. When you're working with strings in Python, you might come across a situation where you want to include a double quote within the string itself. Now, you might think, no problem, I'll just put the double quote in there. But wait, Python sees that double quote and thinks, oh, this must be the end of the string. And then everything just goes haywire. That's where our trusty backslash comes into play. This little symbol is known as an escape character. It's like a magic trick that tells Python, hold on, the next character is not what you think it is. So when you want to include a double quote inside your string, all you have to do is put a backslash right before it. This tells Python that the double quote is part of the string, not the end of it. Let's take an example. Say we want to print the string. She said, hello world. Now, if we type this into Python without any backslashes, Python will get confused. It sees the first double quote and starts the string. Then it sees the second double quote and thinks the string is done. But then it sees more text and another double quote and doesn't know what to do with it. But if we use backslashes, Python knows exactly what to do. We would type it like this. She said, hello world. Now Python starts the string with the first double quote, sees the backslash, and knows that the next double quote is part of the string. It does the same thing for the second double quote and ends the string with the last double quote. And voila! No more confusion. You can also use the backslash to include other special characters in your strings like new lines, or n or tabs, et. But that's a topic for another day. And there you have it. You've just learned how to include double quotes in your strings without causing any errors. Let's take a moment to review what we've learned today. We started off with understanding the basic concept of strings in Python. A string is simply a sequence of characters which can include letters, numbers, symbols, or spaces. For instance, hello world, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or at $% are all strings. Creating a string is as straightforward as enclosing your text in either single or double quotes, just like coding is fun, or I'm a Pythonista. This brought us to the heart of our discussion: escape characters. When we need to include a character in our string that has a special meaning in Python, like a double quote, we have to tell Python to treat it differently. This is where the escape character, the humble backslash, comes into play. The backslash is like a magic wand that changes how Python interprets the character that follows it. For example, to include double quotes within our string "Hello World," by adding a backslash before each double quote, we told Python, hey, treat this next double quote as part of the string, not as the end of it. We applied this concept numerous examples where we included double quotes in our strings, like, she said Python is interesting. Remember the line, print bar number 1 for the song Howard Park? The backslashes here ensured that the double quotes around bar number 1 for the song Howard Park were included in the string and not seen as the end of it. The beauty of Python lies in its simplicity, and the use of escape characters is a perfect example of this. With just a simple backslash, you can include any special character in your string without causing any confusion for Python. For example, it's a sunny day. Master these concepts and you're well on your way to becoming a Python pro. Don't forget to practice what you've learned and keep exploring. Happy coding!